hope you've enjoyed your lunch, and I'd just like to say a thank you to the Den for providing us with such a nice lunch, our IU East Food Services. Thank you. You may have already eaten up your dessert, but if you looked carefully, they did a charming thing, which the little chocolate underneath was in the shape of an M for Michael McRobbie, which I thought was a really great touch. Of course, it's all eaten up now, but anyway. It's my great pleasure now to introduce President McRobbie to all of you, and then he will speak. Michael McRobbie became the 18th president of Indiana University in 2007, and he had previously served as IU's vice president for information technology and chief information officer, also as vice president for research, and also as interim provost and vice president for academic affairs at IU Bloomington. Under his leadership, there are so many things that we could say, but just briefly, IU has seen a major expansion in both the size and quality of its student body, seen a reinvigoration of the global partnerships that support the university's international academic and educational programs, the construction of approximately 70 major new or renovated facilities with a total value approaching $2 billion, helping the economy, yay. And that, of course, includes our own Student Events and Activities Center, which we're very excited about. President McRobbie has received numerous awards and honors, including honorary doctorates from 5 universities around the world. In 2012, he became the first sitting IU president to be elected as a fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, one of the oldest and most prestigious honorary societies in the United States. In 2014, he received the Anti-Defamation League's Man of Achievement Award, which recognizes individuals who have demonstrated exceptional commitment to community, justice, and equal opportunity for all. Last year, he received the Australian National University's Alumnus of the Year Award for 2015. As Chancellor of one of IU's regional campuses, I would like to say that I am deeply appreciative of President McRobbie's strong commitment to the regional campuses and to the way that IU serves populations all over the state of Indiana. President McRobbie, I'm delighted to welcome you to IU East, and I thank you for spending the day with us. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Chancellor. I appreciate the introduction very much. It's a great pleasure to be back at IU East to demonstrate to you how long I've been coming here. I always comment, and you'll forgive me for this, I always comment whenever I come here, what a shame it is they got rid of the fountain that used to be out in the middle of the quadrangle between all the buildings. And for those of you who can remember the fountain, that dates how long ago that was. And maybe there's still an opportunity to restore the fountain, or at least put a or maybe a natural fountain, in that case. I want to firstly thank the campus for hosting this visit. This is in a series of visits that I'm paying to all of the IU regional campuses around the state and other IU facilities. I normally every year would visit most of our regional campuses at least once, if not more than once, on a variety of different reasons. The point of this series of visits really is to meet with community leaders, members of the advisory boards for the various campuses, and with students. This afternoon I'm meeting with, I think it's about 20 students involved in student governance on this campus, and then I'm getting a series, I think, of about 8 research presentations from students as well. Now, we did this late last year up at IU Northwest, and the research presentations were extremely impressive, and it really is marvellous to see young people, and they weren't all young people actually, with such enthusiasm and I think with such creativity and innovation about what they're doing, and I'm sure I'll see the same kinds of activities as well. Now, I do want to welcome a number of legislators who are here today, and if I could introduce and welcome State Senator Jeff Rotz over here. Welcome, Senator. State Representative Dick Ham, welcome too, Representative. State Representative Greg Bamer, as well over there. Welcome again, and State Representative Tom Saunders, as well over there. So maybe you could join me in welcoming all of our state representatives. And I do want to make the point with 4 state representatives present that we at Indiana University are very grateful for the support that you have given us in recent sessions of the legislature and the budget sessions. One of the things that I see in recruiting, and we're in the middle of recruiting a number of major deans on our campuses, is people of real quality are starting to leave other institutions in other states where they have legislatures who are not supporting higher education as well as it is supported here. And I think it is through the support that you're giving Indiana University that it is becoming an even stronger institution on all of its campuses. And we are starting to see a real brain gain beyond what we would normally expect, I think, because of the fact that people see that Indiana has a legislature that values and supports higher education, unlike certain other parts of the states. And once again, we'd like to express our gratitude to all of you for the support that you've given us as well. I should also welcome Trustee Phil Askew. We always welcome our trustees at the meeting. Phil, I know, is a member of the advisory committee for the campus as well. He serves on a number of other advisory committees, and he's an indefatigable servant of the university as a trustee. I don't know how he manages to make it. Phil is actually the only trustee who goes to all of the commencements, as do I. And we normally sit beside each other, and he's the soul of diplomacy too, because he never gets bored with this speech when I have to give the same speech over and over again. But obviously, as well as Phil, I want to also thank the other members of the advisory board for the campus who are here too. The advisory boards for the regional campuses really are very important organisations. They are probably the critical way in which the campuses are linked and tied to the communities in which they are embedded. And in my experience on all of our campuses, the advisory boards are always dynamic, always engaged, always hugely supportive of the campuses. And there are initiatives after initiatives after initiatives that you can slate back to support from members of the advisory committee who learnt about the needs of the campus on that committee and then put their own resources, their own time, their own effort into supporting those campuses. So my thanks again to all of you on behalf of the university, all the members of the advisory committee for this campus, for all that you do as well. I also want to make the point, as I do when I visit any of our regional campuses, that Indiana University really does deeply value all of the regional campuses that are part of Indiana University. The campuses, all the regional campuses, are a greatly valued part of the institution. They play a major role as economic and community development catalysts in the regions in which they are, and they also play a major role in helping to achieve the university's major goal of increasing the number of people with 4-year degrees and other degrees in the state. And we've seen a very substantial increase
in the graduation rates of all of our regional campuses in recent years as well, including this campus. And I spoke just a couple of days ago at the Bloomington Economic Development Corporation annual lunch and made the point to them that when you want to measure the impact of Indiana University in its totality, all of its campuses across the state, last year we graduated for the first time ever over 20,000 students in the state of Indiana. And those graduations is... And I think just as significantly, those graduations were watched by around 100,000 people in the state, across all the state. And those 100,000 people were the proud parents and wives and husbands and family and relatives and friends of those students who were graduating, and they all got to see firsthand the impact of an Indiana University degree and the impact of Indiana University around the state as well. And that 20,000 student graduates, that figure is as much as all the graduates from Purdue and Ivy Tech put together. So that in itself, I think, gives you an idea of the impact of Indiana University. I always enjoy the graduation in Richmond that we have. It is arguably the most boisterous of all of the graduations. I think that was the Chancellor inherited the good work of Chancellor Padar when he was here, because I think he sort of whipped up the graduating students into a sort of frenzy, and that frenzy has continued to this day as well. So that just a sort of brief comment, I think, on the impact of the university. Now, as I think many of you know, it was Tuesday this week when I gave that speech. I happened to give it on what was the 196th anniversary of the founding of Indiana University, which was founded on the 20th of January, 1820. And since then, of course, it has grown to a multi-campus university, 40,000 employees in total, full-time and part-time, 115,000 students across all campuses, budget of over $3 billion, and total amount of sponsored research now approaching $600 million a year, and 8 Nobel Prizes, and so the list of achievements of the university goes on and on. And we will be having our bicentennial year in the academic year 2019-2020. So in preparation for that year, over the last couple of years, we have been preparing the ground to make that what will be, and what truly is in the sense of the word, a unique and vital occasion for the university. The first thing that we did was to develop a strategic plan for the university that culminates in the bicentennial year. The trustees approved the end of 2014. And at the next trustee meeting in just a few weeks, we'll be presenting the first annual report against that strategic plan of the huge and comprehensive achievements that have been arrived at on all of our campuses right across the state. And then the second major development in preparation for the bicentennial was the launching of the For All campaign, the For All fundraising campaign for Indiana University. Now, the goal of that campaign is $2.5 billion. And when we announced the campaign in late September last year, we announced that we had achieved approximately half of that goal of $2.5 billion. And that campaign is aimed at areas like improving student affordability, scholarships for undergraduate students, scholarships for graduate students, more endowed professorships, more opportunities for study abroad, more and better facilities to enhance research, teaching, and student activities, and all the other components of a university that make them such unique institutions there. And this campaign is the first time ever in the history of the university that we are having an all-campus campaign, all-university campaign involving all campuses. So every campus, including IU East, is a participant in this campaign. Every campus has their target. Every campus will have their, or either has or is putting in place their committees to assist in achieving the goal and target for that campus. Every campus has the goals of what they are trying to achieve with fundraising for that campus. And this is the first time we've ever done it across the university. And as I've said, maybe some of you have heard me say this before, and I speak as somebody who has come from another part of the world, as is obvious, but philanthropy in the United States really is the secret ingredient behind the excellence of American higher education. American higher education is the best in the world. Nothing comes close to it. And when you look at what the reasons for that are, one of the critical elements is philanthropy. Because nowhere else in the world do graduates have the kind of esteem and the love and affection for the institutions, for their alma maters, that people do in the United States. And they support those institutions as they are able to do so in their later years as well. It is, as I've said many times, it is a uniquely American phenomena. And this time, this campaign, every one of the campuses is going to participate in it. And I think the support that I know already many people in this room have given, and I'm sure that people will participate in this campaign, the support that you will give will make this a stronger campus, make IU a stronger university, make Indiana a stronger state, and will contribute ultimately to the strength of the nation as well. And for the support that you have already given, our deepest thanks as well. I do want to also comment on when I was talking before about the importance of our regional campuses, that one of the critical things about them, one of the critical things here in particular, is that the graduates of these campuses, the vast number of them stay in the regions in which they got their degrees. In fact, the number for Richmond, for IU East, is the largest of any of the regional campuses. 86% of the graduates of this campus stay in the Richmond region, Wayne County region, after graduation. And those people come out with degrees in important areas of application and with professional qualifications and so on that enhance the quality of life and contribute to economic development and growth in the region as well. And that is the impact, I think, that the campus has engaged with the community through the education it provides to students and the involvement that it has in the life of the campus consequently. I will also mention, in talking about the bicentennial, I'll mention one other thing too, and we just announced this a couple of days ago, actually on the 20th, that we've just established a bicentennial steering committee, and this is a group of people who are responsible for planning all of the events, both leading up to and in the bicentennial year itself. And that, again, will involve all the campuses of the university. And I'm sure that, as is always the case, East will be an aggressive contributor to those celebrations in the year 2020. We've also established as part of that, because I think one of the most important things for an institution is to ensure that it records its history, all of its history, the good, the bad, the impactful, all aspects of it, the full diverse array of components of the history of an institution. So I also announced the appointment of a council of university historians, chaired by very eminent historian Jim Capshaw, who wrote a very well-received biography of Herman Wells a number of years ago as well. And the library director here, Francis Yates, on this campus, that's Francis, yes. Francis is the member from East on the Council of University Historians, and thank you very much, Francis, for your contributions, about which I've heard extremely favourable things already. So, and they will be contributing to the work that really I think needs to be done to comprehensively document the history of the institution right across all of the campuses of the university as well. I also want to say too, I think as people know, that a number of years ago we brought the the administration of the regional campuses together under an executive vice president. This was the structure that used to be in place many years ago, and John Ryan, who later became president for 17 years, John was the executive vice president who was responsible for regional campuses. What this does is ensure that all of the regional campuses have the direct connection to the university and can get attention on a day-to-day basis as they need it. And John Applegate, where is John? Right in front of me. That's why I couldn't see him. John's the executive vice president responsible for all of the regional campuses. And I think what this has shown, I'm sure the Chancellor would agree to this, as the other Chancellors would as well, is it has brought the campuses together to be able to work together, to share best practices, to share resources, to plan and build together. And all of this is codified in what we call the Blueprint 2.0, which is the bicentennial strategic plan for all the regional campuses of the university as well. And there are, I think, multiple examples of the impact that the way in which we organise our regional campuses at IU is really having. I think there's no doubt that when you bring together the strength of all of those regional campuses, that's a third of the university together, and you bring them together, you multiply the strength of the individual campuses by having them work together in that way as well. Now, I do want to comment too on the Chancellor kindly mentioned the building boom at the university. We have, as you mentioned, built about 70 major new facilities around all of the campuses. Every campus of Indiana University has at least one major new campus underway. And of course here it's the Student Events and Activity Centre that I think John did the groundbreaking on, and which I will be here for the dedication sometime early in the fall semester, was when the building will be dedicated. And then later this afternoon I'm doing a hard hat tour of it and to see progress there. I was delighted that it was possible to find support to build that building. It was clearly a missing part of the life of this campus, and it's also, of course, I think was very well planned to not only be a building that supports events and activities in more community-related ways for the campus, but is also going to support classes. He'll have classrooms and will be part of the major educational mission of the campus as well. Now, I do want to publicly thank, on behalf of the university, on behalf of the campus, a number of donors whose generosity will be recognised with name spaces in the building, and I think there's no better way to recognise and memorialise the contributions of the dedicated supporters of this campus and of this project than doing that. And I really look forward to seeing all that in its completed glory in another 8 months or so when we can do the dedication. I know that the basketball court in the new centre is named for Paul and Pat Lingle, and I'm told that they couldn't be with us today, so unfortunately they're not able to be here. The West End Bank has made a contribution that will make possible what's called the West End Bank Plaza in the new facility. And I believe with us today the CEO, Tim Frame, who's an AU East alumnus, and the board chair, John McBride. Is Tim and John, are that you both here? Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, and you should come on the hard hat tour too if you wish. And John was also a recipient of the IU East Chancellor's Medallion Award in November too. The First Bank of Richmond, their generosity has made possible the First Bank Richmond atrium, and I think their CEO Gary Clear is here as well. Yeah, thank you.
I apologise that if I may not know everybody, but at least I can recognise you all and thank you publicly too. Now, I do know the next person, Alan Spears, and his wife Donna, long-standing contributor to the IU Alumni Association as well. And Alan, I think in his role as Senior Vice President and Trust Officer of the bank is with us too. So thank you, Alan and Donna, for your support too. The Richmond Baking Company is generously supporting the NASA Payday classroom, and I am delighted that NASA Payday has been such a wonderful contributor to the university and is doing a spectacular job already in, I think 5 months or so of his appointment as Chancellor at IUPUI, but I think he did such a fine job in the 5 years that he was here as Chancellor of this campus. I'm delighted that NASA's being recognised for all that he did. And Rob is, where is Rob? Over here. Rob is here, and his company has been responsible for the dedication of that classroom in NASA's name. So thank you very much, Rob, for that. Reed Health, fabulous new facility in Richmond, quite an extraordinarily impressive hospital. It will be naming a space in the new building as well, and Angie Dickman, the Vice President of Reed Health, is with us this afternoon, and she is the chair of the IU East Board of Advisors and an IU alumna. So thank you very much to the hospital for support. And a generous contribution from Chester Heights Apartments will sponsor the Chester Heights student section. And the owner, Rod Weiss, is with us here this afternoon, and I'd like to thank him too for his support as well. And the Chancellor and her husband Jean are also supporting the building, and there will be a classroom in Springwood Hall will be named as in their honour for the support for all of the various communities in the state to contributing to the health and well-being of the citizens of the state and the regions in which the campuses are in areas such as the health sciences and other areas as well. I mean, all of the regional campuses do a wonderful job, and a job that frankly has just been getting better and better over recent years, and I'm most grateful to, obviously to the chancellors, but to all of their senior administrators as well, the vice chancellors and deans on the campuses, and to the faculty as well for all that they do. You really do ensure that Indiana University has true statewide reach and true statewide impact. With that, my thanks, and I don't know whether there's time for questions or whether you want to do questions or how you want to do it. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you very much. Any questions from anybody on any matter? Yes.
What do you see as some of the major legislative issues? Some people here to listen to you.
Well, I think I think it's incumbent on us in the universities to continue to make the case to the legislature and to the members of the legislature about the importance of the university to the state, the impact of the university in the state, the importance of the university continuing to evolve on all of its campuses to degrees that really are the kinds of degrees that students in this day and age really want, and which are the kinds of degrees that employers want. So this has been behind, and this more affects Bloomington and so on, but this has been behind things like the creation of the media school in Bloomington, and that actually will produce people who have a comprehensive, integrated view of the media as opposed to very narrow, pigeonholed education in some aspect like print journalism
television and so on. And that school is now up and running, new dean underway and so on as well. It's behind, frankly, why we established a program in engineering on the Bloomington campus. IU Bloomington was the last member of the American Association of Universities not to have engineering. Out of 62 universities, last one not to have engineering. And maybe that may have made sense once. That was, of course, the prerogative once of land-grant institutions. But that long ago ceased to be the case, and engineering is now so tightly intertwined with pretty much all areas of the sciences, the life sciences, the physical sciences, and other sciences, that it is essential that any major research institution have engineering. And consequently, we were able to get approval for a new engineering program on the Bloomington campus, and the first graduates will graduate in the bicentennial year of 2019-2020. And it's also what's behind all the other new schools, the two schools of public health. Indiana University has the only schools of public health in the state. And this is in a state that does have public health indicators that are clearly that need room for improvement, and among some of the towards the bottom of the list in the country as well. And we see those two schools of public health as being major contributors to helping address those public health issues in the state. It was behind the establishment of the School of Global International Studies. In this day and age, students simply have to have some international dimension to any field of education, because they're going to be running into that no matter where they are in this country, no matter what field that they're working in and so on. So all of that is the efforts that I think that we're making to show that that we really are focused on the needs of the state. Affordability, we have the lowest net cost of attendance of any institution in the Big Ten, the lowest in the Big Ten. Other places may, and so an IU education on any of its campuses is extraordinary value for money, and I think that's been seen by the fact that we've had a major increase in enrollments in recent years. It's been indicative of that as well, and also the impact of research and innovation, entrepreneurship in the institution. There was a news release came out just this week, a new ranking by Reuters, actually really done very well, done on a sort of quantitative basis as opposed to pure subjectivity, showed that that Indiana University is the 45th most innovative university in the world. This is a worldwide survey they did. So I think that in turn, as I like to say, imagine where we would have been had we had engineering. Those are the kinds of things that I think it's vital for us to make the case. The legislature supported us very generously with an increase in our operating budget last year, and with about $100 million of capital projects across the campus as well. And again, as I said before, we're very grateful for that support from our enlightened legislature in that regard. Anything else? Any other questions? Good. Well, thank you all very much. Thank you again.
That concludes our program. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, President McRobbie. I'd like to say a special thank you to John Applegate, who, even though he's sitting right here, he's I think a bit of an unsung hero. Certainly, it's a great pleasure for me to work so closely with him and the other regional campus chancellors. I think everything the president said is 100% on the mark. We have a great group of people who are working together to strengthen all of our campuses, and it's a wonderful, wonderful situation in which to be working. So thank you all for being here. We are going to be whisking away the president in about 5 minutes to visit with the students, but if you have a second to say goodbye to him, you're welcome to do so, and then hopefully we'll see many of you at the chamber dinner this evening. Thank you all.
Well, just very briefly, I've been at IU nearly 20 years, and I first came to this campus a few months after I started, so I know it well, as I know all the campuses of the university. I regularly travel to all the regional campuses, but we've got a special effort underway where I visit the campus specifically to meet with the advisory board and others, and with various students groups. I just finished a series of presentations on research by the students, which was just excellent, really first rate. Met with student government before, and then I'm actually going to tour the student event and activities centre, which I'm looking forward to, which I'll be back for in sort of early fall semester for the opening of that building, the dedication of that building. And then tonight I'm speaking at the local chamber and the keynote speaker, and talking about education in the state and the importance of our regional campuses, etc. I'm also, just briefly, this has been an important week for us. This is on Tuesday was the 196th anniversary of the founding of Indiana University, and I announced the Bicentennial Steering Committee that will plan all of the activities leading up to and during the bicentennial year. This will be an all-campus effort. Every campus will be involved, and I'm looking forward to the report from that group at the end of the semester, or the end of this academic year, with what I hope will be hundreds and hundreds of good ideas about what we should be doing, and then we'll look at how we can carry some of those out. But really, I'm here to answer any questions you've got. I'm happy to take any questions on any topic.
Well, as far as IU East, it's changed a lot, particularly in the past few years. Tell me a little bit about what you thought about it 20 years ago, where you see it go, and what's your vision for it? That's like 3 questions in one. But
Well, I think the campus, I know, went through a bit of a difficult period now, about probably 10 years ago, in terms of decline in numbers, but due to the efforts of, I think, NASA Paydar for the period that NASA was here, and now the Chancellor, we've seen steady student growth every year for 8 years on the campus. And part of that, of course, has come from the I think really the path-breaking work that's been done on online education on this campus. Really, sort of understanding that on many of the regional campuses, a lot of people want the opportunity to be able to complete degrees and work for degrees online, or at least online part of the time. And that was a major theme, I know, with Chancellor Paydar's, and I think it's had great impact and has been an important component of the numbers, the increasing numbers on the campus. I want to stress again just how important to Indiana University our regional campuses are. Our campuses like IU East, they're important because they provide a relevant and affordable baccalaureate and master's level education in communities where many people, for whatever reason, prefer to do that at home or near home. And this, I think, is clearly seen in the fact that I believe the figure is 87% of all of the graduates of this campus stay in the Richmond area and in the Wayne County area. And so the importance of this campus, I think, is clearly demonstrated by both the increasing numbers and the impact that it has, on the economic development. Hundreds of people work on the campus. The economic multiplier, based on a study we did a few years ago, is about $50 million in the region. I think we're, from memory, the 5th largest employer in the region, too. And it's this campus that really takes people from, say, high school education to bachelor's level and master's level education in some cases, that then prepares them for careers in business, technology, the health sciences, and so on. In terms of the vision for the campus, I think it really is to continue to do all of those things, to do them, continue to do them even better, and to continue to ensure that the campus really remains highly relevant to the needs of the region. But at the same time, to also be able to provide an education of high enough quality, which it does, to be able to inspire the kinds of students that I've just seen and just heard the presentations from, and to help propel them forward into careers which probably will take them outside the region, but will ensure that the students of real talent who wish to move into professions and so on have the great fundamental training, basic training that will enable them to do so.
You mentioned a little bit about online,
Sure.
and that being part of the growth here at IU East, obviously with Venus Williams being
Sure.
a high-profile alum of this place.
It's hard to be much higher profile.
and their agreement with the Women's Tennis Association. Where do you see online education going, not only for IU East, but for Indiana University as a whole?
Well, online education has become a very important part of what we do. I personally don't believe that it will ever replace the classic on-campus or residential style of education, but I believe it can and clearly is and has added as a major complement to much more classic form of education, enabling certain parts of that to be done more conveniently online, and also enabling people who just simply are not able, for whatever reason, to be able to attend classes on a campus, to be able to either complete a degree or do parts of a degree offline. Online, but off campus. There was a news release we put out, I think it was just last week, about a new ranking of online programs, and the IU online, general IU online programs are called IU Online. That picks up the programs here and on other campuses as well, and that saw a really major increase in rankings of about 30 places, and now I think the IU programs more generally are regarded as being some of the best online programs, and the way in which we now have them sort of comprehensively organised across all our campuses in a way that complement each other, and we don't have redundancies and we're not competing with each other, I think is seen as having been highly effective.
Well, talking about technology, I'm working right now on a story about Richmond Community Schools is getting ready and hoping to implement a one-to-one computer program in their upper grade levels, and eventually expand that to the lower grade levels. And most of the county schools already have gone to that. So that's your incoming students. What do you think how do you think that is important, and do you think that needs to continue to grow your students, your future students, with technology in their classrooms?
Well, you're asking me as a technologist and a computer scientist, so I have to answer that it's great and we should do more of it.
Well, I knew I was aware that was your background, so.
Well, I think we are living in a different world, obviously, to the one in which I grew up, where the students who are coming to university, or at least the traditional age students who are coming to university, are really the first generation that was born completely digital. The present generation of students are students who grew up with digital phones and grew up with laptop computers, and many of them are getting close to a point where they grew up with iPhones and iPads as well, and they grew up in an environment where their much of their social interaction with their friends, family, and others, but also more broadly education and so on, is mediated by pervasive internet technology and information technology in everything that they do, and consequently, if you don't have a certain mastery of that technology, or let me put it differently, students grow up with a basic mastery of that technology. There's hardly any students who don't have it. So given that everybody now has that as a basic level, stuff that would have been taught 20 years ago is now something that kids are learning when they're in their cribs, and it's also become so much more accessible because of the vast improvements in the quality of the design of systems and so on as well. But information technology doesn't stand still, and the uses of it become more sophisticated. So it really requires almost a new approach to the teaching of information technology into the next generation of applications and technologies. And I know that President Obama spoke about this, and others speak about it. I think an approach that almost mandates a significant component of information technology as part of a high school education and even a grade school education, I think is essential ultimately. It is being done in other parts of the world, and I think we're just going to have to. It's important for us to follow suit there as well. But the beauty of it is the tools are once the preserve of people with a certain amount of wealth and leisure. The tools now are cheap and pervasive. Anybody can get them and access them for very little. So one needs to be able to build on that to now fit everybody, get everybody fitted and ready for the next level, next generation of technologies.
Any other questions?
Is there a way that Indiana can better prepare some of its students to be ready to go into college, and what can they do? Obviously, they're going through I-STEP last year. They say that some of the scores came down in the high schools all across the state because the test got harder. Are they teaching to the test? Are they teaching the right thing? What are you finding from the incoming students that maybe the educational system in Indiana as a whole should be tackling a little bit more?
From my point of view, I can really only comment that we have seen now for, I've been president 8 years, for pretty much the whole of that period, we have seen every year an increase in improvement of the quality of the students coming into the university. This year, across all our campuses, this is the most academically talented freshman class that the university's ever had. Now, exactly what's causing that and how are they trained differently or taught differently to students before them, I'd have to really defer to those who really study those kinds of issues. But certainly from our point of view, although there are no doubt areas where we could see improvement, we certainly are not seeing a decline in the quality of our students. And remember that it's not as if our numbers are declining, our numbers are just going the other way. Our numbers are increasing. We're now about stable, but at 115,000 students across all our campuses, we're at the highest overall student body that we've ever had at the university by far. And it's increased by about 20,000 over the last 8 years too.
Well, I'm sorry this concludes our time. 15 minutes goes very quickly. So thank you everyone for
Thank
coming.
you
I
very
appreciate
much.
it.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.